Welcome, curious minds, to a brand new deep dive. Today, we're embarking on a truly delightful culinary adventure. We're exploring an ingredient that often plays a supporting role, but honestly, it absolutely deserves the spotlight. This deep dive is presented by Knowledge Flow, and we've assembled a fantastic collection of recipes. I think they'll completely transform how you think about this kitchen staple.
Indeed, we're delving into the humble yet incredibly versatile world of beans. What's truly fascinating here, is the sheer breadth of dishes we've uncovered. We're talking comfort food classics, things that evoke cherished memories, but also surprisingly innovative global flavors. Some will really challenge your perceptions. Our mission today is to thoroughly unpack these recipes, uncover the clever techniques behind their success, and reveal some surprising ways beans can elevate, transform, and, truly complete a meal.
That's exactly right. Think of this as your personal shortcut to becoming, maybe, a bean aficionado. You'll gain some genuinely practical cooking insights and discover those aha moments, the kind that make you rethink what a simple bean can accomplish in the kitchen. Get ready to explore a real treasure trove of flavor and culinary potential. Okay, so as we dive in, one particular type of bean consistently stands out. It's like a true star player across so many of these dishes. I'm talking about the black bean. It just shows incredible adaptability. What makes black beans such a culinary chameleon?
That's an excellent observation, and culinary chameleon is a perfect way to put it. What makes them so fascinatingly versatile is their robust yet subtly earthy flavor profile. It provides this fantastic, deeply satisfying base for almost anything you pair them with. They're substantial enough to anchor a hearty main course, definitely, but their smooth texture when pureed, that makes them ideal for surprising condiments, like we'll see later. And their natural starchiness lends body to a comforting soup. Plus, they readily absorb the flavors of other ingredients, which makes them incredibly forgiving and adaptable for home cooks.
Right, that flexibility is absolutely key. Okay, let's start with something that embodies both flavor and practicality. The black bean casserole ole. This sounds absolutely perfect for, a busy weeknight where you need maximum impact with minimal fuss.
Precisely. This recipe is a brilliant example of how to achieve significant flavor and satisfaction using readily available pantry staples, without requiring a lot of active cooking time. It really leans into convenience, which is invaluable. So for this casserole, you'll gather a cup of diced onions, 2 teaspoons of chili powder, 3/4 of a cup of yellow cornmeal, and a cup of evaporated skim milk. You'll also need a 1/4 cup of water, a 16-ounce can of whole kernel corn, a 16-ounce can of black beans, make sure they're washed, a 16-ounce can of stewed tomatoes, and a 4-ounce can of mild green chilies, cut into small cubes.
The beauty of this recipe, it really shines in its straightforward instructions. They almost feel too simple for the flavor you get. You just preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, lightly grease an 8-inch square pan with nonstick cooking spray, and then literally just mix all those ingredients together in a large mixing bowl, combine them thoroughly, pour the mixture into your prepared pan, and bake it uncovered for about 30 to 45 minutes. And it generously serves 6 people, so it's a fantastic no-stress option for a family meal.
Yeah, and what's genuinely insightful here is how the simple acidity from those stewed tomatoes, paired with strategic spices like the chili powder and green chilies, can effectively mimic a slow-cooked depth of flavor. And in such a short time. It's kind of a masterclass in flavor shortcuts. Leveraging pantry staples to build complex, warm, and inviting notes quickly. The cornmeal doesn't just add body, it also gives a subtle sweetness and texture. This approach, it's invaluable for any home cook, really, regardless of skill level, because it demonstrates that fundamental interplay of acid and spice in creating a robust profile fast.
Right.
And the fact that it's an all-in-one mixing process. Minimal prep, relying heavily on canned goods, that makes it incredibly accessible.
And the oven time lets you do other things.
Exactly. The efficiency of oven baking means once it's in, your hands are free. That's a true gift on a hectic evening.
Okay, so from that incredibly quick casserole, we pivot to a classic that promises, some serious depth. Black bean chili. This isn't just a simple weeknight meal. This one feels like an investment in flavor.
This recipe indeed showcases how a longer, more thoughtful cooking process and a careful layering of ingredients can build incredibly rich, satisfying, and nuanced flavors. It's a more involved chili, yes, but the payoff in terms of depth and complexity is immense. Okay, for this robust chili, you'll actually start with some garnishes in mind. A cup of sour cream, a chopped red onion, and a bunch of fresh cilantro leaves. For the chili itself, you'll need 1/2 cup of dry red wine, which is a little hint at the sophistication we're aiming for here, 2 cups of pre-cooked black beans, freshly cracked black pepper, salt, and a dash of cayenne pepper. Then, for the core flavor builders, gather 2 tablespoons of ground cumin, 2 large diced onions, 2 jalapeno peppers cut into small cubes, 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil, 4 finely chopped garlic cloves, 1 pound of beef cubed into 1-inch pieces, and 2 pounds of deboned pork butt. And just for our listeners, that's actually a highly flavorful cut from the pig's shoulder, not its rear, despite the name.
Good clarification.
Right. And finally, a 28-ounce can of whole tomatoes with the syrup set aside.
Okay, the instructions for this chili, they really lay out a thoughtful step-by-step process. It's all about building those layers of flavor. You begin by heating the vegetable oil in a Dutch oven over medium heat. And here you'll saute bell peppers. Wait, are bell peppers in the ingredients?
Good catch. They're mentioned in the instructions, but not the list. It probably implies you can add them, a common chili addition, or maybe it's just a slight oversight in the recipe writing. Let's assume they're optional but recommended here.
Okay, so saute optional bell peppers, garlic, and onions until the onions become translucent and the peppers are tender. That takes about 14 minutes. This initial aromatic base is key. Then you transfer those sauteed ingredients to another bowl using a slotted spoon, leaving behind any residual oil. Next, in the same Dutch oven, you brown the pork and beef until they lose their pink color, roughly 8 to 10 minutes. That ensures a rich, meaty foundation. Once the meat is browned, you return the sauteed aromatic mixture to the Dutch oven, add the whole tomatoes, and begin seasoning. Hot chili powder, salt, and cumin. A dash of cayenne and more chilies goes in next for that signature warmth. Then the pan is covered and simmers for a full hour. That lets the pork and beef get incredibly tender and all those flavors meld.
Right, that hour is crucial.
It's at this point that you introduce the half cup of dry red wine and the black beans. You then continue to cook, uncovered this time, for another 25 minutes until the chili naturally thickens up. For serving, you prepare cilantro, sour cream, chopped onions, and cheese in separate bowls. This lets everyone customize their bowl. And this recipe, it's designed to serve a generous 8 people.
This recipe offers several brilliant culinary insights, I think. First, using both beef and that deboned pork butt. It gives a multi-meat base that adds significant richness and a complex texture you just wouldn't get from a single protein. And deboning the pork butt, that's an important detail. It ensures tender, melt-in-your-mouth meat. The flavor development is, well, it's a masterclass in building depth. Sautéing aromatics first extract their full potential. Then browning the meat creates those rich, savory Maillard reactions, that long, hour-long simmer. It allows the collagen in the meat to break down into gelatin, creating a luxurious mouthfeel and deeply infusing the broth.
Yeah.
And the red wine, added towards the end of that initial simmer, it deglazes the pan, picks up all those flavorful bits stuck to the bottom, and adds an incredible layer of tannic depth and fruitiness that elevates the whole dish. Then the final 25 minutes, cooking uncovered, that's crucial for natural reduction and thickening. It concentrates all those wonderful volatile aromatic compounds.
And the garnishes make a difference, too.
Oh, absolutely. Those garnishes, cilantro, sour cream, onions, cheese, they aren't just decorative. They offer crucial contrasts in temperature, texture, and flavor. They transform each spoonful. It's a perfect dish for a gathering or for batch cooking. The flavors only deepen overnight,
Now this is where it truly gets captivating for me. Black bean pesto. That's not something you hear every day. It certainly challenges our conventional idea of pesto.
It really does. This dish truly redefines our expectations of what a bean can become. And if we connect this to the broader culinary landscape, it highlights how traditional techniques, like, say, the emulsification process of making a pesto, can be applied to completely new, unexpected ingredients. And the results, surprising and incredibly delicious. It teaches us that pesto is maybe more a method of capturing intense flavors and textures than just a fixed set of ingredients: basil, pine nuts, cheese.
Interesting way to think about it.
Right. So for this innovative pesto, you'll need simple seasoning.
Yeah.
Just salt and freshly cracked black pepper. For the core ingredients, a bunch of fresh coriander, cilantro, essentially 2 cloves of garlic, 2 seeded jalapeno peppers, a fresh ham hock from the butcher, that smoky, collagen-rich lower part of a pig's leg.
Got it.
1 bay leaf, a cup of water, and 8 ounces of dried black beans.
Okay, and the instructions for achieving that unique pesto consistency sound quite specific. There's a real focus on texture control here. You start by thoroughly cleaning the dried black beans, then place all the beans into a deep kitchen pot. Add the ham hock, the cup of water, the jalapenos, garlic, the bay leaf, and the fresh coriander. Bring this mixture to a boil, then immediately lower the heat and simmer lid off for a pretty substantial hour and 30 minutes. Afterwards, turn off the heat, carefully remove the ham hock and bay leaf, discard those. The next critical step involves separating the cooked bean mixture from its broth using a sieve or colander. All the bean batter, the solids, go into a blender and get blitzed. Now, as you blend, you gradually pour in small amounts of the reserved broth, about 1 cup in total, until you achieve what it calls a velvety, even thick consistency. Finally, season your black bean pesto generously with fresh pepper and salt. It says this pesto can be stored in Tupperware in the fridge for up to 3 days. And to serve it hot, just a quick microwave. Perfect for nachos, tortillas, and fajitas. And you can enhance it with sour cream and more cilantro if you want.
The novelty factor here is just undeniable, isn't it? Using black beans in a pesto moves it way beyond a typical dip or spread. But what's brilliant is the flavor building. Using that ham hock gives this deep, smoky umami base that cleverly mimics the rich cheese and pine nuts you find in traditional pesto.
Ah, I see the connection now.
Yeah. The bay leaf adds an earthy, aromatic note, contrasting beautifully with the fresh, vibrant coriander and that subtle heat from the jalapeno. This is a fundamental lesson in, flavor substitution and texture adaptation. And the texture control is paramount. That careful process, simmering, sieving, blending with just the right amount of reserved broth, that's essential to get that velvety, even thick consistency that makes it truly a pesto, not just mashed bean dip.
Makes sense.
Its versatility is also striking. Being perfect for nachos, tortillas, and fajitas really showcases its flexibility, pushing beyond typical pesto uses and encouraging culinary experimentation. And the practical storage advice, up to 3 days, means you can easily prep this ahead, makes it a convenient gourmet option. For those who are vegetarian and maybe don't have a ham hock handy, smoked paprika and maybe a touch of mushroom powder could offer a similar umami depth. Perhaps even a drop of liquid smoke for that smoky note. Just an idea.
Great tip. Okay, continuing our deep dive into the black beans' incredible range, we have a soup with a truly intriguing addition. Rum. Black bean soup with rum. That's definitely something that catches your eye and promises a unique flavor experience.
It absolutely does. This recipe truly illustrates how a single, unexpected ingredient can elevate a familiar dish, transforming it into something quite sophisticated. It adds this layer of warmth, depth, and a subtle aromatic complexity that you just wouldn't anticipate. For this rather elegant soup, you'll need 1 sliced lemon and fresh chopped parsley for garnish later. Also, freshly squeezed lemon juice, 1 hard-boiled egg sliced into thin slivers for serving. And for the soup itself, 1/3 cup of dark rum. This is our star unexpected ingredient. 6 cups of rich beef broth, 2 cups of dried black beans, 1 ham hock, 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter, 1 bay leaf, a bunch of fresh thyme, a bunch of fresh parsley, 1 cup of chopped celery, and 2 cups of chopped onions.
Okay, the preparation for this sophisticated soup begins with a crucial step. Soaking the dried black beans overnight in cool water to soften them up. Then you drain them thoroughly before cooking. In a large kitchen pot, melt the unsalted butter and sauté the chopped celery, parsley, thyme, onion, and bay leaf for about 10 minutes. This creates a wonderfully fragrant, aromatic base. Next, add the ham hock, the pre-soaked beans, the beef broth, and it says some additional water into the pot. Season with fresh pepper and salt, bring it to a boil, then reduce the heat to a gentle simmer, and you cook it, lid off, for a substantial 3 hours. That long simmer allows for maximum flavor development.
3 hours, wow.
Right. At this point, you carefully remove and discard the bay leaves and the ham hock. After removing the mixture from the heat, transfer the beans and some of their liquid into a food processor and blitz them until you get a smooth, velvety consistency. The pureed beans are then returned to the pot. Finally, stir in the dark rum and lime juice, adjusting the pepper and salt to your taste. The soup is served beautifully garnished with those thin slivers of hard-boiled egg and a sprinkle of fresh chopped parsley. This recipe yields a generous 7 cups.
Yeah, that 3-hour simmer isn't just about getting the beans tender. It's like a slow alchemy happening in the pot. The ham hock, rich in collagen, slowly breaks down into gelatin. That creates a luxurious, silky mouthfeel in the soup. Meanwhile, the prolonged, gentle heat lets those fat-soluble aromatic compounds from the herbs deeply infuse the broth, building layers of savory depth that, honestly, quick cooking just can't achieve.
That makes sense. And the rum.
The unique ingredient, the dark rum, is a highlight. It's added right at the end precisely to preserve its aromatic qualities. It lends this distinctive warmth and depth without completely cooking off its nuanced flavor. It adds a certain, something special.
Je ne sais quoi.
Exactly. And that aromatic base, meticulously built by sautéing celery, parsley, thyme, onion, and bay leaf in butter, it provides a luxurious foundation for the soup, The finishing touches, too. The lime juice provides a bright, acidic counterpoint, and the elegant garnish of hard-boiled egg and fresh parsley. It shows thoughtful attention to both flavor balance and sophisticated presentation.
I noticed the instructions mention adding water for simmering, which isn't in the ingredient list.
Right, that's likely just a common sense addition. It implies you might need extra liquid beyond the broth to ensure the beans are fully submerged and cooked properly, especially as the liquid reduces over 3 hours. It's a good reminder that recipes sometimes assume a bit of cooking intuition.
Yeah.
And the generous yield of 7 cups makes it perfect for multiple servings, meal prepping, or even freezing for a luxurious meal later on.
We've seen black beans shine, but the world of beans offers so much more. Okay, here's where it truly gets captivating. We have so many fascinating takes on baked beans, and chili itself is practically its own category, each one with surprisingly unique ingredients.
This really raises an important question, doesn't it? What defines a truly great baked bean or chili? The variations we're about to explore offer some surprising and I think innovative answers. They demonstrate how different cultural influences, unexpected ingredient choices, and culinary creativity can profoundly shape these beloved dishes. We're moving far beyond what many might consider a basic recipe. It's about finding that perfect balance of sweet, savory, smoky, and spicy.
Okay, let's dive into something truly unique for baked beans. Kahlua baked beans. This is definitely not your grandmother's recipe, unless maybe your grandmother was particularly adventurous.
Right. This recipe is a fantastic example of elevating a classic comfort food with unexpected gourmet touches. It brilliantly blends sweet, savory, and that hint of something truly special and spirited. For this rich, complex dish, you'll need 1 pound of dried navy beans, thoroughly rinsed and picked over. You'll also need half a pound of sliced bacon, 2 cups of finely chopped onion, a 12-ounce bottle of chili sauce, half a cup of tomato-based barbecue sauce, half a cup of Kahlua, that's our key ingredient for its coffee and rum notes, a 1/4 cup of Dijon mustard, half a cup of strong brewed coffee, a 1/4 cup of unsulfured molasses, 2 tablespoons of spicy thick steak sauce, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 2 tablespoons of Tabasco sauce. Quite a list.
It really is. And the preparation for these Kahlua baked beans is quite a process, but it seems designed to build layers of incredibly deep flavor. You start by soaking the navy beans overnight in water, then drain them. In a huge pot, immerse them in fresh cold water and bring to a boil over moderate heat. Then, lower the flame and simmer uncovered for at least an hour, stirring once or twice until the beans become soft yet still firm. Once they reach this stage, drain the mixture, but make sure to reserve 1½ cups of that flavorful cooked bean liquid. That's important.
Very important. Liquid gold.
Exactly. Next, in a skillet, cook the bacon until it's wonderfully crispy. Remove the bacon, reserve it for later, but leave 1 tablespoon of the rendered fat in the skillet. Add the finely chopped onions to this flavorful fat and cook until they soften about 5 minutes. Now, combine the pre-cooked beans, the reserved 1.5 cups of cooking liquid, the sautéed onions, salt, Tabasco, steak sauce, molasses, mustard, coffee, Kahlua, and chili sauce. Phew. Transfer all of this into a heavy 5-quart Dutch oven or a non-reactive oven-safe pot with a tight-fitting lid. Then bake it at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for an initial 30 minutes. After that, continue baking uncovered for another 30 minutes. Give it a good stir, then allow it to bake for 40 more minutes, stirring occasionally until the beans have thickened to your liking. And it notes you can cool, cover, and refrigerate these beans, then reheat them gently the following day over moderate-low heat as the flavors actually improve. This recipe creates a very generous 10 servings.
The unique flavor profile here is truly what elevates this dish. It's extraordinary. The blend of Kahlua, strong coffee, dark molasses, and all those sauces creates this complex symphony of sweet, smoky, and slightly, boozy notes. It's far from ordinary baked beans. The bacon integration is also brilliant. It's cooked first for those crispy bits, which, you're right, likely get folded in with the beans at some point, or maybe used as a garnish. The instructions are a tad ambiguous there.
Yeah, it just says add beans, then continue to bake uncovered after the first 30 minutes. Doesn't explicitly mention adding the bacon back.
Right. But importantly, its rendered drippings are used to sauté the onions, creating an intensely flavorful foundation. That's key. This recipe cleverly employs a dual cooking method. Initial stovetop simmering to tenderize the beans perfectly, followed by oven baking, which allows for deep flavor development through gentle caramelization and gives that classic baked bean consistency.
And it's great for making ahead.
Exactly. Yeah. What's particularly useful is that it's a fantastic make-ahead dish. The note on cooling, refrigerating, and reheating highlights its suitability for meal prep, potlucks, or large gatherings. The flavors deepen beautifully overnight, And with an impressive 10 servings, it's a substantial dish for any occasion. For anyone hesitant about the boozy aspect, the Kahlúa's alcohol will largely cook off during that long bake. It leaves behind its distinctive coffee and subtle rum notes, which integrate seamlessly into the overall flavor without being overtly alcoholic. It's really more about aroma and depth.
Good to know. Okay, for those seeking an equally rich, satisfying experience but entirely plant-based, we have Mom's Best Vegan Baked Beans. This shows you absolutely can achieve that deep, comforting flavor without any meat.
This recipe truly demonstrates how traditional comfort food can be beautifully adapted for diverse dietary needs. It focuses on the powerful interplay of spices, aromatics, and crucially, slow cooking to build deep, savory, and incredibly satisfying flavors. The ingredients include 4 cups of water, 2 cups of chopped onions, 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, half a cup of molasses, a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, 1 teaspoon of dry mustard, 32 ounces of tomato sauce, an 1/8 teaspoon of allspice, 1 pound of dried, uncooked navy beans, 1 freshly peeled garlic clove, and 4 bay leaves.
The preparation for these vegan baked beans involves a crucial, extended marination step. This really infuses the beans with flavor before they even hit the heat. You start by washing and draining the dried navy beans thoroughly. Then you mix all the ingredients except the tomato sauce with the beans. This mixture is then covered and refrigerated for a full 24 hours. 24 hours.
Yeah, that's a serious marinade.
After the significant marination period, you transfer the mixture into a large microwavable pot. Interesting use of microwavable pot here. Maybe just means a large, sturdy pot. Add the tomato sauce and bring it to a boil over medium flame. Then lower the heat, cover the pot, and let it simmer for 45 minutes, remembering to stir occasionally. While that's simmering, preheat your oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. The covered pot is then transferred into the oven and baked for a substantial 4 hours.
4 hours? Wow.
Right. During this long bake, you'll need to check the beans approximately every half an hour, adding water or stirring as necessary to ensure even cooking and prevent them from drying out. Once the beans are perfectly tender and the sauce is rich and thick, take them out of the oven and prepare to serve. This recipe also generously yields 10 servings.
The vegan focus here is, I think, exquisitely executed. It achieves that classic baked bean taste using only plant-based ingredients, relying heavily on the rich sweetness of molasses, the tangy depth of tomato, and the aromatic warmth of spices for that characteristic richness and complexity. That 24-hour marination period, truly a brilliant step. Allowing the beans to soak with most of the spices and aromatics lets those flavors penetrate deeply into the bean's core even before cooking begins. This contributes to a much more profound flavor than just adding spices during the cook.
That makes total sense.
It also employs a combined cooking method. Initial stovetop simmering, which kickstarts the cooking, followed by that long, slow oven bake for 4 hours. This ensures perfectly tender beans while allowing the flavors to meld and develop complexity. The spice blend, with cinnamon, nutmeg, and allspice, is particularly notable. It provides a warm, aromatic, almost cozy dimension that is distinct and adds a wonderful comforting quality. And the careful maintenance during the long bake, checking and stirring, is important. Ensures even cooking prevents drying out. Another large batch, perfect for sharing, meal prepping, or freezing.
Okay, for a more traditional yet equally robust and intensely flavorful chili experience, we have a straightforward chili with beans. This is the kind of chili that really warms you from the inside out.
This recipe is a testament to the enduring appeal of a truly well-made chili. It focuses on rich meat flavors and a balanced, hearty spice profile that hits all the right notes for a satisfying meal. For the ingredients, you'll need 1 pack of pinto beans, a cup of coarsely chopped onions, 2 pounds of chili meat, or, if you prefer, 4 pounds of lean sirloin beef, cubed into half-inch pieces, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1 pound of turkey sausage. So, options there.
Yeah, lots of meat choices.
Right. 1 tablespoon of red cayenne pepper, 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, 2 tablespoons of ground cumin, 2 cans of tomato sauce, 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil, 3 tablespoons of New Mexico chili powder, or a similar robust variety, 1 teaspoon of Tabasco or Louisiana hot sauce, half a tablespoon of salt, and 1 can of chopped jalapeno.
The instructions for this classic chili begin with that foundational step for the pinto beans. Wash them thoroughly, then soak them overnight. The next day, wash them again, place them in a huge pot, immerse them in water about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch above the beans. Then bring them to a simmer, covered for 2.5 hours until they're perfectly tender. While the beans are cooking, brown your chili meat separately. If you opt for the lean sirloin, it suggests browning it 1 pound at a time in a non-stick skillet to avoid overcrowding. Then transfer all the browned meat to a large pot. Next, pour all the remaining ingredients, onions, garlic powder, cayenne, oregano, cumin, the 2 cans of tomato sauce, oil, chili powder, hot sauce, salt, chopped jalapenos, into the large pot with the meat. You also add an additional 12-ounce can of tomato sauce and 1 or 2 10-ounce cans of fat-skimmed beef stock. Mix everything well, then simmer it, covered, for an hour. Once your beans are cooked through, add the entire meat mixture from the saucepan into the pot with the beans and continue to simmer for another 30 to 45 minutes. This allows all those flavors to really meld and deepen. This recipe yields 4 generous serving portions.
This recipe offers great protein options, as you noted. Flexibility with chili meat, lean sirloin, or turkey sausage, caters to different preferences for richness and leanness. The long bean preparation is absolutely key here. That overnight soak and 2.5-hour simmer for the pinto beans ensures they become perfectly tender, prevents them from being tough or mealy, which is crucial for a great chili texture. It employs a layered cooking approach. Browning the meat separately before combining everything ensures those deep, savory Maillard flavors are developed optimally. Then the subsequent hour of simmering truly builds a deep, integrated flavor profile. The spice profile is wonderfully robust. New Mexico chili powder, cayenne, oregano, cumin, and Tabasco or Louisiana hot sauce contribute a classic spicy kick. Now, an ingredient note here. The phrase, if you use beans instead of sirloin, is a bit confusing, isn't it? Since pinto beans are already a core ingredient.
Yeah, I wondered about that too.
It likely refers to substituting types of meat for the chili base, perhaps suggesting using a larger quantity of beans if reducing the meat, or maybe it's just a subtle typo. For a home cook, I think the takeaway is to focus on getting a good quality meat base. And for someone new to making such an involved chili, what's the one step they absolutely cannot skip for that deep flavor payoff? I'd say it's ensuring the meat is properly browned before adding liquids. That creates foundational umami.
Good tip. Okay, this next chili recipe, this is quite the showstopper. It promises a truly gourmet experience. Chocolate chili with pinto beans. Yes, you heard right. Chocolate in chili. How does that unexpected ingredient transform a classic dish?
This really pushes the boundaries of what chili can be. It's a brilliant illustration of how a touch of bitterness and sweetness from cocoa can dramatically deepen savory flavors. It's a technique borrowed from various global cuisines, especially Mesoamerican traditions, where chocolate has long been paired with chilies, like in mole sauce.
Oh, mole. Okay.
Exactly. It adds this earthy, sophisticated backbone. For this gourmet adventure, you'll need 1.5 pounds of finely diced lean pork, 1.5 pounds of finely diced lean beef, 5 medium coarsely chopped onions, a quarter cup of olive oil, 3 cups of water, 2 cups of tomato juice, 5 tablespoons of chili powder, 3 tablespoons of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon of salt, 3 tablespoons of unsweetened cocoa powder, our surprising star, 3 tablespoons of cinnamon, 3 tablespoons of oregano, 2 tablespoons of finely chopped garlic, 3 tablespoons of white cornmeal, and 2 1-pound cans of drained and rinsed pinto beans. For suggested garnishes, you'll want coarsely chopped onion, shredded lettuce, and flour tortillas.
Okay, the instructions for this intriguing chili are designed to coax out maximum flavor from its unique ingredients. You begin by cooking the diced beef and pork on medium flame, stirring constantly until they lose their pink hue, but crucially, before they start to brown aggressively. About 15 minutes. This keeps them tender. Transfer the cooked meat into a bowl and set it aside. Next, in the same pan, heat the olive oil until it's just rippling. Then add the coarsely chopped onions. Sauté this mixture, stirring from time to time until the onions become beautifully translucent and soft, about 10 minutes. Now stir the reserved meat back into the onions. Then blend in the full spectrum of spices and liquids. The salt, optional just later, cinnamon, cocoa, oregano, cumin, chili powder, tomato juice, and the 3 cups of water. Bring the flame high to boil the mixture, then immediately lower it and let it simmer, uncovered for a full hour, stirring periodically to prevent sticking.
That's a long simmer.
Yeah. At this point, taste and adjust seasonings, adding more chili powder if desired. Continue to cook for another 30 minutes. Then finally add the drained pinto beans, the white cornmeal, which will help thicken the chili, and the finely chopped garlic. Let it simmer for just 10 more minutes until the beans are thoroughly heated through and the chili reaches a perfect consistency. For serving, garnishes like sour cream, shredded lettuce, grated Parmesan cheese, or chopped onions are suggested to add freshness and textural contrast.
The unexpected flavors here are truly the star. The unsweetened cocoa powder and cinnamon provide this rich, earthy, almost slightly smoky backdrop that really makes this chili unique. It adds profound depth, not overt sweetness. Creates a kind of dark, mysterious quality.
I can almost imagine it.
Right. The dual meats, lean pork and beef, offer a robust texture and a hearty flavor base without being overly greasy. That long simmer, a full hour, then another 30 minutes before adding the beans, is crucial. It allows all those complex flavors, particularly the cocoa and cinnamon, to meld and integrate beautifully. Creates a harmonious and sophisticated profile. The addition of cornmeal towards the end is a clever technique to help thicken the chili, giving it that hearty, substantial consistency.
And the Parmesan garnish, that's unusual for chili.
It is. While sour cream and Parmesan cheese are mentioned in the instructions, they aren't in the main ingredient list. It highlights how personalizing chili toppings is such a common practice. These are popular choices that complement the dish perfectly, adding creaminess and a salty tang from the cheese. This recipe really challenges the notion that chili has to be one-dimensional. It proves how a touch of culinary daring can elevate a classic to gourmet heights.
Okay, we've covered hearty chilies and satisfying baked beans. But what if you're looking for something a bit lighter, or maybe a different texture altogether? What does this all mean for someone seeking dishes beyond that heavy comfort food realm?
That's a perceptive question. And if we connect this to the broader picture of bean cookery, it really highlights how incredibly adaptable beans are. They fit across so many different culinary profiles. Think refreshing, vibrant salads or nuanced, incredibly satisfying soups that can be both light and yet deeply flavorful. They're definitely not just for the heartiest of meals. They have a remarkable range.
Okay, let's get into the spirit of things with this wonderfully named Boot Scootin' Bean Soup. It sounds like it's going to deliver a real kick of flavor and warmth.
This soup absolutely stands out for its extensive and I think thoughtfully curated blend of herbs and spices. It truly creates a complex, aromatic, and deeply satisfying broth that profoundly elevates the humble pinto beans. It's a real flavor-packed experience. Okay, ingredients. You'll need a cup of sherry, a quarter teaspoon of curry powder, half a teaspoon of sweet basil, half a teaspoon of ground marjoram, half a teaspoon of ground thyme, half a teaspoon of celery seeds, half a teaspoon of crushed rosemary, half a teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of oregano. Quite the list already.
Wow.
Yeah. 1 teaspoon of crushed bay leaves, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of Ajinomoto, which is pure monosodium glutamate, MSG, that amino acid naturally found in many foods, used here to boost umami, that fifth taste.
Right, the savory taste.
Exactly. 1 tablespoon of chili powder, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, a quarter cup of finely chopped green pepper, 3 tablespoons of finely chopped parsley, 3 cloves of finely chopped garlic. No garlic is mentioned again, suggesting a generous hand. 2 cups of finely chopped onions, 4 cups of rich chicken broth, 22 ounces of tomato juice, 2 cups of water, 2 cups of ham cut into squares, and 3 cups of dried pinto beans.
Okay, that is an impressive lineup of flavor builders. The instructions seem relatively straightforward for such a complex-sounding soup, though. First, clean your pinto beans thoroughly and then soak them for a full 24 hours. After soaking, combine the pre-soaked beans with all the herbs, seasonings, chicken broth, crushed bay leaves, brown sugar, onions, garlic, the mentioned celery, which makes sense as an aromatic, even if not listed initially, and tomato juice. Bring this entire mixture to a boil, then gently simmer it until the beans become wonderfully tender. Finally, just before serving, pour in the sherry. That brightens and finishes the dish. Perfect for 6 persons, it says.
The aromatic complexity here is undeniably the star. That impressive list, curry, basil, marjoram, thyme, celery seeds, rosemary, cumin, oregano, bay leaves, chili powder, creates a multi-layered flavor profile that's incredibly rich, intriguing, and deeply warming. The inclusion of Ajinomoto is fascinating. It's a nod to enhancing savory depth, boosting umami, making the soup intensely satisfying. The ham, cut into squares, adds a crucial salty, savory element to the broth, providing a lovely textural counterpoint to the soft beans and balancing that array of spices. And adding sherry right at the very end. Brilliant touch. It doesn't just add a sophisticated note, its acidity and fruitiness brighten the entire flavor profile, preventing it from feeling heavy. For home cooks, while garlic is listed twice and celery is mentioned in instructions but not the main list, these are small inconsistencies. They highlight how cooks often intuitively adjust or add aromatics for deeper flavor. It reminds us recipes are often guides, not rigid rules. Good point. It's a hearty yet complex soup that truly delivers a powerful flavor punch.
Okay, when you think of beans, New Orleans red beans and rice is just so iconic. A soulful dish that instantly comes to mind. Let's delve into its authentic flavors and traditions.
Oh yeah, this recipe instantly transports us to the rich culinary traditions of Louisiana. It's a fantastic example of how slow cooking develops incredible depth and richness, and how a dish becomes a true cornerstone of regional identity, often served on Mondays, traditionally.
Ah, laundry day food.
Exactly. For this beloved classic, you'll need half a pound of salt pork, 1 pound of dried red kidney beans, 1 bay leaf, 4 tablespoons of chopped celery, quarter teaspoon of thyme, 2 closely chopped garlic cloves, 4 cups of beef or ham stock, 1 teaspoon of salt, 4 dashes of Tabasco sauce, 1 coarsely chopped onion, and of course 3 cups of rice for serving.
The instructions for making this soulful dish begin with that traditional preparation. After soaking the kidney beans in water overnight, drain them thoroughly. Then, cook the salt pork in a Dutch oven until it's beautifully browned and crispy. After removing the salt pork, sauté the coarsely chopped garlic, onions, and celery in the remaining rendered fat for about 3 minutes. Builds that fragrant base. Next, add the pre-soaked kidney beans, the stock, beef or ham, Tabasco salt, bay leaf, and thyme to the pot. This mixture is cooked over low heat for a substantial 3 hours, adding water if necessary to keep the beans submerged until they become wonderfully soft and creamy. Now here's a truly traditional and clever step. You crush at least a cup of the cooked kidney beans into a smooth paste. Stir this paste back into the pot with the remaining beans and blend it all together until the entire mixture becomes thick and luscious. It gives that natural creaminess without needing other thickeners.
That's the magic step right there.
And of course, it's always served generously on top of steaming white rice. This recipe makes 6 satisfying serving portions.
The traditional preparation here is absolutely essential to the dish's distinctive character. That overnight soaking, browning the salt pork for foundational smoky, savory flavor, and that long 3-hour simmer are hallmarks of the classic. The slow cook allows the beans to truly break down, release their starches, while the salt pork renders its fat and flavor, creating an incredibly rich broth. The flavor profile is instantly recognizable. Salt pork, bay leaf, thyme, Tabasco create a savory, smoky, slightly spicy base that is quintessentially New Orleans. And the thickening technique, as you said, is particularly interesting and traditional, mashing a portion of the beans into a paste and returning it to the pot. It's a brilliant, age-old way to get a creamy, thick texture, relying purely on the beans' natural starch. No flour needed.
Clever.
And yeah, always served over steaming rice, the perfect canvas to soak up all that rich, flavorful bean sauce. It's a dish that celebrates patience and simple, honest ingredients, resulting in profound satisfaction.
Okay, shifting gears entirely now for something lighter and incredibly vibrant. A marinated bean salad. This sounds like the perfect, refreshing counterpoint to all those hearty dishes.
This recipe is a delightful departure, absolutely. It beautifully showcases how beans can form the core of a refreshing, flavor-packed, and visually appealing salad. Perfect for a lighter meal, a versatile side dish, or, a picnic or potluck. For the marinade, you'll need 1 cup of brown sugar, 2/3 of a cup of oil, 1 cup of vinegar, 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 minced garlic cloves, and 1 teaspoon of pepper. For the salad itself, you'll need an array of canned beans. 1 14-ounce can of yellow beans, 1 14-ounce can of green beans, 1 19-ounce can of kidney beans, and 1 19-ounce can of chickpeas, also known as garbanzo beans. And to add freshness and crunch, you'll need 1 finely cut green bell pepper, 1 finely cut red bell pepper, and 1 Spanish onion.
The instructions for this marinated bean salad are remarkably simple. It really emphasizes the importance of the marination process itself. Combine all the items for the marinade, the brown sugar, oil, vinegar, salt, minced garlic, pepper, and shake them vigorously until well combined. Then simply drop all the drained canned beans, the finely cut green and red peppers, and the Spanish onion into this marinade. Now, the crucial step here, what makes it a true marinated salad, is to refrigerate this mixture for 1 or 2 days before consuming. But the recipe states it's good for 1 serving. Now, given the substantial list of canned beans and everything else, are we talking about a single, very, very hungry person here? Or is this perhaps a playful understatement for a large batch?
Yeah, that's definitely one of those charming recipe quirks, isn't it? Given the sheer volume of ingredients, 5 cans of beans plus peppers and onion, this recipe would yield a very large bowl of salad, easily enough to serve many people as a vibrant side dish or several generous main course portions.
Okay, that makes more sense.
It's almost certainly meant as a substantial batch, perfect for a big potluck, a summer barbecue, or maybe for someone who loves prepping lunches for the week. But I have to admit, after a long hike, maybe I can make a decent dent in that single serving.
Fair enough.
Beyond that playful note, the variety of beans used here, yellow, green, lima, kidney, chickpeas, creates a beautiful mix of colors and textures. It's visually appealing and offers diverse mouthfeels. The vibrant vegetables, the finely cut peppers and Spanish onion add a lovely crunch and freshness that contrasts beautifully with the softness of the beans. And that sweet and tangy marinade, the blend of brown sugar, vinegar, garlic, it provides a sweet tart flavor that really penetrates and brightens the beans over time.
But that marination time is key.
Absolutely vital. The recommendation to refrigerate for 1 to 2 days is crucial. This isn't a quick toss and serve salad. It needs time for those complex sweet, sour, and savory flavors to fully meld and infuse into every single bean. That's what transforms them into something truly special.
I love how we're seeing beans pop up in so many different ways, from hearty classics to refreshing salads. But what about some truly unexpected preparations that might take us around the world? Show us where beans go beyond our familiar culinary horizons.
This section truly highlights the global reach and, well, the boundless culinary creativity that beans inspire. We're moving beyond the familiar to some fascinating dishes that showcase the beans' remarkable adaptability in incredibly diverse cultures. It proves they are a universal staple, capable of profound transformations across continents.
Okay, let's begin our global journey in Korea for mung bean pancakes, or bindae-duk. This is a completely different and very exciting way to think about beans.
This recipe is a wonderful example of how beans are used in savory preparations that are a complete meal in themselves. Existing far outside the typical stews or salads we might associate them with. It truly highlights unique textures and a deeply satisfying flavor profile. To make these savory pancakes, you'll need 1¼ cups of mung beans, specifically peeled and split into two, which have been soaked overnight in cold water and then thoroughly drained. You'll also need 1.5 cups of finely diced salt-cured pork or ham, 1.5 cups of chopped kimchi, or it notes Chinese cabbage if preferred, but then you should add chili powder, 3 tablespoons of chopped green onions, 2 teaspoons of crushed garlic, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 large eggs, half a teaspoon of black pepper, and a mixture of sesame and vegetable oils for cooking.
The instructions for these mung bean pancakes are quite interesting and detailed. They focus on creating the right texture for the batter. First, you process or blend, basically grind the pre-soaked mung beans into a very smooth paste. You gradually add about a cup of cold water as you blend to achieve the desired consistency. Then, with the exception of the cooking oils, add all the remaining ingredients: the salt-cured pork or ham, kimchi or cabbage, green onions, garlic, salt, eggs, and black pepper. Beat until everything is thoroughly well mixed. And it reminds you, if you use Chinese cabbage instead of kimchi, add a bit of chili powder to the batter for that characteristic Korean heat.
Right, gotta have that kick.
Next, lightly oil and heat a skillet using a mixture of sesame and vegetable oils. Put spoonfuls of the batter onto the skillet and cook them until the underneath is golden brown and tiny bubbles begin to surface. Flip the pancake to cook the other side until it too is golden and cooked through. As each pancake is cooked, stack them under a single cloth to keep them warm until all are done, and then serve them either cold or hot, typically accompanied by soy sauce and chili dips.
This recipe really zeroes in on the specific bean type, mung beans. Often used in Asian cuisine, especially when split and peeled, they offer a tender texture and a wonderfully mild flavor that really allows other ingredients to shine. The concept of a savory pancake, it's a staple in many Asian diets, provides a substantial, versatile meal, and it's a delightful contrast to the sweet breakfast pancakes many of us are more familiar with.
Definitely.
The flavor profile is quite robust and distinctly Korean. The inclusion of salt-cured pork or ham, the pungent and spicy kick from kimchi, or chili powder for cabbage, the freshness of green onions, the aromatic garlic. It creates a complex, savory, umami-rich, and spicy flavor. The texture is also key. The process of grinding the mung beans into a paste is what gives the pancake its unique, slightly chewy, yet tender structure. And the versatility of serving, either cold or hot with soy sauce and chili dips, makes it adaptable for various occasions and preferences. It's a wonderful example of how beans transcend cultural boundaries in culinary application.
Okay, from Korea, let's head to Italy for cannellini beans with Italian sausage. A dish that speaks volumes through its simplicity. It sounds like a rustic, incredibly satisfying meal.
This recipe is a beautiful illustration of classic Italian comfort food. Few high-quality ingredients executed perfectly to create a harmonious and robust flavor profile that feels deeply traditional and comforting. For this dish, you'll need basic seasonings, just salt and pepper.
Yeah.
For the core components, 2 16-ounce cans of cannellini beans, cleaned, washed, and drained. 1 can of Italian plum tomatoes, drained and roughly chopped. 1 tablespoon of minced fresh sage, crucial for that authentic Italian aroma. 4 minced garlic cloves, 3 sweet Italian sausages, 3 spicy Italian sausages, and 1 tablespoon of olive oil.
The instructions for cannellini beans with Italian sausage are wonderfully straightforward. It really embodies the Italian philosophy of simple ingredients yielding profound flavor. Start by sautéing both the sweet and spicy Italian sausages in a non-stick griddle until thoroughly cooked and nicely browned. After cooking, remove any unwanted fat drippings, leaving just a little to coat the pan. In the same pan, quickly sauté the minced garlic and the fresh sage, allowing their aromas to bloom. Immediately remove them from heat to prevent burning.
Good tip. Garlic burns fast.
Right. Next, cut the cooked sausages into about 1-inch thick pieces. Then mix in the drained cannellini beans and the roughly chopped Italian plum tomatoes, returning everything to the pan. Simmer the mixture until it's well combined and heated through, which should take about 15 minutes. Finally, season with salt and pepper to taste. Perfect for 6 servings.
The beauty of this recipe really lies in its simplicity and the quality of its components. Minimal, high-quality ingredients for maximum impact, a hallmark of authentic Italian cooking. The sausage blend is crucial here. The combination of sweet and spicy Italian sausages adds a complex, delicious, savory base that permeates the whole dish. Offers both warmth and a subtle kick. Fresh sage is absolutely essential for that authentic Italian flavor. Its earthy, slightly peppery notes stand out beautifully against the richness of the sausage and the bright acidity of the tomatoes. Using canned cannellini beans makes this a relatively quick and easy meal to prepare, perfect for a flavorful weeknight dinner when you still want something hearty and deeply satisfying.
Definitely achievable.
And the instruction to remove unwanted fat drippings after sautéing the sausages. It shows an appreciation for balancing richness without making the dish overly greasy. Ensures a pleasant, well-rounded eating experience. It's a dish that proves sometimes less truly is more, especially when the ingredients are top-notch.
Okay, our final culinary stop takes us to Serbia for a truly robust and comforting meal. Serbian bean soup. This sounds like the kind of dish that nourishes the soul.
This soup is indeed a masterclass in building flavor through meticulous layering and a truly unique thickening method. It profoundly reflects the heartiness and rich culinary traditions often found in Eastern European cuisine, designed to be deeply satisfying. For the ingredients, you'll need 1 pound of dried white beans, either cannellini or navy beans, 1 large carrot scraped and sliced, 5 to 6 whole peppercorns, 1 pound of thickly sliced kielbasa, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 coarsely chopped onions, 2 tablespoons of flour, half a tablespoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 3 bay leaves, 3 coarsely minced garlic cloves, 2 tablespoons of chopped parsley, and the 2 tablespoons of tomato paste.
The preparation for this Serbian bean soup is quite detailed. It seems focused on ensuring perfectly tender beans and a rich, deeply integrated flavor. First, meticulously clean the dried beans from any grits or chaff, then wash them thoroughly twice with cold water. In a huge saucepan, cover the beans under 1 to 2 inches of water. Bring this to a boil, then lower the flame and let it simmer for half an hour. After this initial simmer, turn off the flame, add cold water to the saucepan so the beans are submerged in 3 inches of water, let them settle for 1 to 2 minutes, then drain them again.
That's an interesting multi-step process for the beans.
Isn't it? It sounds crucial for the texture. Then add fresh water and bring the beans to a boil once more, reducing the flame to a simmer. Now combine these reboiled beans with the sliced carrot, tomato paste, chopped parsley, bay leaves, minced garlic, chopped onion, and whole peppercorns. This entire mixture is simmered slowly on a very low flame for 1.5 to 2 hours until the beans become tender. After the soup has cooked for about 45 minutes, add the thickly sliced kielbasa. Approximately 15 minutes prior to serving, add half a tablespoon of salt to the mixture. Now the final unique step is the thickening. In a separate pan, stir paprika and hot olive oil, then immediately add the flour, mixing well to create a thin paste. This paste is then swiftly added to the simmering soup, mixing constantly. Let it simmer for another 5 minutes until the soup thickens to a perfect hearty consistency.
The detailed bean prep here is absolutely crucial, I think. That multi-step soaking and boiling process, initial simmer, cold water soak, drain, reboil, isn't just about tenderness. It likely helps break down some of the complex sugars that can cause digestive discomfort, ensuring optimal texture and digestibility.
Okay, that makes sense.
The flavor foundation is incredibly deep and savory, built on carrots, onions, garlic, bay leaves, peppercorns, and the rich umami of tomato paste. The inclusion of sliced kielbasa, added at just the right time, provides a wonderful smoky, savory element. It's quintessential to many Central and Eastern European dishes, contributing a fantastic meaty counterpoint. But what's particularly unique and fascinating is the thickening method. The zapruska, or roux, made with paprika, hot oil, and flour added at the end.
Yeah, tell me more about that.
Well, unlike a classic French roux where flowers may be toasted for nutty notes, here, the paprika is briefly bloomed in hot oil before the flour is added. This preserves its vibrant color and its sweet, smoky aromatics. It ensures it thickens the soup while imparting a signature warmth and beautiful red hue rather than just adding a starchy base.
Very clever.
Isn't it? And that long simmer, 1.5 to 2 hours, allows all those rich, complex flavors to meld beautifully and the beans to become perfectly tender. Creates a truly comforting and authentic experience.
Wow, what an incredible culinary journey through the world of beans. From a quick, flavorful casserole to complex international soups and chilies, even that innovative pesto. We've really seen just how much culinary magic a simple bean can hold.
It truly demonstrates that with a little creativity, a willingness to explore different techniques, and an appreciation for diverse spices, beans can be transformed into incredibly diverse, satisfying, and even sophisticated dishes. You've now got, hopefully, a wealth of ideas to bring into your kitchen, from quick weeknight meals to gourmet adventures that challenge your culinary perceptions.
So the next time you open that pantry, will you still see beans as just a humble ingredient, or maybe as an incredibly versatile canvas for endless culinary creativity? We hope this deep dive has given you plenty to mull over, inspired your next meal, and perhaps encouraged you to look at your pantry staples with fresh, adventurous eyes.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep cooking, and keep discovering the hidden potential in every ingredient.